We officially have the first version of the Dolphins 2025 NFL roster. The 53-man roster has officially been cut. Two players were designated for IR. One player remained on the PUP. And we've got a couple of surprises for
Oh,
you.
oh,
Joining me is Isaiah Smalls, Dolphins beat writer for the Miami Herald. I am Omar Kelly, Dolphins columnist for the Miami Herald. Isaiah, I'm going to give you the official list of cuts. Cornell
oh, go ahead.
Armstrong got whacked. Quentin Bell, which was a little bit of a surprise, got whacked. Mike Boone, Farrell Brown, Jackson Carman, Cameron Dantzler, Matt Dickerson, Mike Hilton, Chris Mayrick, Kendall Sheffield, which was a little surprising.
Very soon.
Then those are the veterans that got waived. I think some of them have the possibility of coming back on the practice squad, or maybe being signed in week 2 when contracts do not have to be fully guaranteed for the season. Then we've got the young players that are waived: BJ Adams, Andrew Armstrong, Mason Brooks, Brandon Daniels, Eric Uzukama, Ryan Hayes, AJ Henning, Alex Hentley, Daquan Jackson, Mohamed Kamara, offensive lineman Jalen McKenzie, Derek McClendon. Shedding a tear a little bit right now.
You gonna be both, man.
Safety Patrick McMorris, Grayson Murphy. I'm shedding the other tear right now. Hopefully they come back on the practice squad. Josh Pueb. I never knew how to say his name. Ethan Robinson, Hayden Rucci, John Saunders Jr., Aaron Shamplin, Ben Steele, Channing Tindall, Theo Weiss, Adam Westbrook, Byron Matos, who was waived injured. He's the offensive tackle who suffered a neck and shoulder injury in the very first practice, and Eugene Asante, who also was waived with an injury settlement. Then we also have.
You said Westbrook? Who's that?
I said, hold on, you gonna? I said no. Addison West.
Okay.
Yeah. Then we also have players who were designated for IR with the ability to return. Jason Saunders, who's going to be sidelined for at least 4 weeks with a hip injury. The Dolphins are shopping for a kicker. Worked out a former Florida kicker, Eddie something. I don't remember his name. They're not going to sign him anyway.
Panero.
Something like that. I don't know. You know how to pay attention to special teams. Then we also get center Andrew Meyer, who has an elbow injury, who's going to begin the year on IR. Mm-hmm. Let's go over some of the surprises that didn't make the roster. We talked about the edge rushers. When they signed Matt Judon, we knew a lot of them and we were in trouble. The only fringe edge guy that made the roster was Cameron Good.
And that's because of special teams, as you so eloquently love to point out. I think, for both of us, D-Mac, Derek McClendon, and Grayson Murphy are definitely two of the biggest surprises. They had identical stat lines during the preseason. Both had 5 total tackles and 2 sacks, right? So I was, if in addition to the tape that they put on, the tape that they accumulated, obviously, in practice, right? They was in the backfield hella. In addition to those two, I mean, one of the bigger surprises for me was Matt Dickerson, right? And let's be clear, they let go of Matt Dickerson and kept Matthew Butler.
Mm-hmm. Hey, so listen, sometimes these things that players do or roles that they fill maybe on special teams. Also, Dickerson would have to be, he's a vested veteran. So if he's on the roster for the first day, when Tuesday next week, his contract is fully guaranteed. As I tell you, these teams, they want to go week to week. Matthew Butler is not a vested veteran. So he is a week to week kind of player. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with Matt Dickerson.
Yes.
What happens with those 2 edge rushers, Grayson Murphy, Derek McClendon. You know who was a surprise that did make the 53? Isaiah Johnson. And drum roll, please. Cam Smith.
Yeah.
The draft, the second round draft pick of 2023. He remains on scholarship. I happen to believe that one of those two, their days are numbered. Based on they got to make a roster spot for Rasul Douglas, who is being signed. That's an important element of today. Earlier this morning, the Dolphins agreed to terms, committing to pay a contract that is as much as $3 million to Rasul Douglas to add a veteran to this team. Veteran is important because, as I constantly say, the blind cannot lead the blind. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. Sure. We talked about Matthew Butler surprisingly making it. Mm-hmm. We talk about Cam Smith surprisingly making it. We talk about Isaiah Johnson making it. We also have Jordan Colbert, safety, who made it ahead of a drafted safety in Patrick McMorris. So that's another draft pick that's down that hits the waiver wire. Pharaoh Brown, we discussed him being released, and then Taj Washington makes the 53-man roster. I'm not sure that was a massive surprise to a lot of people, but he's very talented. But now all of the receiver unit is basically under 5'10", except for NWI. And let's get to the backup offensive lineman. Keon Smith makes the 53-man roster. Yep. I can acknowledge Keon Smith is probably the best backup left tackle that you have. You've got Daniel Brunskill, who made the 53-man roster, especially with Eichenberg and Andrew Meyer being sidelined for the start of the season. You need somebody who could actually snap the ball, so that's kind of a layup there. And then clearly, Larry Borum made the 53-man roster, which I don't necessarily know if you had a choice. The question is, what are they going to do at that position, and what are they going to do at running back, considering we saw one running back at practice today, which is probably the first time in the history.
Technically two. We saw two.
Malik ain't no running back.
We saw two. I'm just saying, listed on the depth chart, he's listed as a running back. I'm just saying.
He's listed as a full. Is he listed as a running back? He's a fullback. Hold on.
He is listed as a fullback here, but on the depth charts we get, on the rosters we get, he's listed under the running back. I just want to get. Hey, look, my man got some runs today that he hasn't gotten in a while, man. Like let's give him his just due.
Sure. Okay. We know how important Alec is to the team. He's probably.
I know. I'm just.
He's probably going to be a captain, but
of course,
this is a position where they clearly got to claim guys, got to sign guys.
Yeah.
I'm curious and it's not one, but probably two.
Yeah.
I'm curious what they do in terms of Danny Martinez. I think that's his name.
Damian Martinez. You talking about?
Damian Martinez. Running back. Yeah. Was waived by Seattle. I would definitely put in a claim on that. He was a 7th-round pick for the Seattle Seahawks, 1,000-yard runner for the Hurricanes. He fits that power mold of what the Dolphins are missing. Let me think.
Hey man, Jeff Wilson. I know people don't want it, but with how complicated this offense is, right? I think it wouldn't hurt to bring back a guy that understands it, and not only understands it, has been here before. To me, it makes too much sense. It might not be the ideal signing, right? But you got to go with what you got. It also isn't ideal to have one running back on the field during practice. So I think you kind of got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, but keep in mind that you would sign Jeff Wilson to the practice squad, not the 53-man roster, so that you can go week to week.
Of course.
Obviously, tomorrow is going to be a very interesting day because you're going to find out who was claimed, who wasn't claimed. You're also going to begin to process assigning guys to your practice squad. So a lot of these players will more than likely be back. I'm curious about Channing Tindall. Whether or not he's going to be back. Some of these safeties, obviously, they're going to try to re-sign some of these safeties because they're pretty good. Derek McClendon, Grayson Murphy, if they don't get claimed, maybe even Mohamed Kamara, maybe even Quentin Bell. I don't know. Obviously, when you look at this roster, and I put up some grades that you can find on the Miami Herald website, I graded all of the whole roster based on the transactions. What is the area of this team that has you the most concerned?
I mean, it's the running back room right now. I mean, it's just not healthy. right? And I'm very, very concerned about a calf injury because just of, you know, I watch a lot of basketball. And we had this conversation: is the calf is so closely linked to the Achilles, right? Think about what happened to Tyrese Halliburton in the NBA Finals, right? He tried to push through it and it was okay for a little bit, and then his Achilles popped, right? And I think that's the worst case scenario. When you talk about Devon Achane and his calf injury, right? Just because of how versatile he is and how important he is to this team, right? So I think that is obviously the area of most concern to me. After that, obviously, it's the offensive line, just because, and that's more so of a skill thing, right, versus availability, right? I just don't have a lot of faith in the backup offensive line outside of Liam Eichenberg, right? And that's
not available to you.
Who's not available. So again, that's very concerning. Again, I mean, as you pointed out earlier today in the media room, Darren Waller. You saw Darren Waller today, and I'm personally concerned about the tight end room a little bit too. Considering
I saw him, I didn't see him practicing.
Exactly.
He put up a little cryptic post. Was it you or no? It was he put up a post on Instagram.
Okay.
Which was like,
I didn't see that.
Oh yeah, it's a little spicy too. Let me get it for you. Let me get it for you.
You think he read my story? Is that where it's coming from?
Oh damn, that could have been it's you. Oh wow, it didn't even connect.
I'm joking.
No, I'm not joking. His comment was,
let's see here.
You too busy worried about time, my boy. Be patient. I was like, okay. He didn't practice. I mean, he could be talking to anybody. It's everybody's worried about Darren Waller. My biggest concern today is on a practice that was an hour-long practice, a light practice where there are only 2 tight ends on the roster. He didn't work. That he was with Tyreek Hill with the trainers when I saw him. Mm-hmm. That to me hints he's rehabbing something. What that is, I don't know. But next week, Wednesday, the Dolphins got to tell me. Yeah. Not this week, Wednesday, but next week. Next week, Wednesday, the Dolphins can't be all mysterious about what's going on with Darren Waller. For betting purposes, they got to tell the NFL what's going on.
That's very real.
So, but we did get to see Tanner Conner made the 53. That doesn't necessarily surprise me. I thought he had a good camp, finally translated to the field. But I don't know, man. We might have to begin the season with Tanner Conner out there instead of Darren Waller if this guy's got basically 10 days to get it together. I can't call it. I have and 10 days to develop chemistry with Tua Tagovailoa. Like,
that's
I can't
not gonna happen in those 10 days.
Huh?
I can tell you that one right now. That's not gonna happen in 10 days. It took what, Malik Washington half a season? Like, come on now.
Yeah, but he wasn't getting all the reps that he needed. But remember, he was behind Braxton Berrios earlier in his career. Then he was behind Odell Beckham. Then he finally got his opportunity, and Tua was like, "Oh, okay, I like you. And then you saw the elevation.
That's true.
This coaching staff, they believe in Darren Waller. They are committed to Darren Waller. I need to know what the truth is. When my nose start acting up, I just smell something. You got them
spidey senses, man.
Yeah, it's just something smell a little fishy, man. Something smell a little fishy. Obviously, Quinn Ewers made the team, and I will make the argument to you. Kyle McCord got cut by your Eagles.
Yeah, he's not good.
He probably just needed some time to learn the offense.
I don't like Kyle McCord. I'm gonna be honest. I don't.
Listen,
there's history behind that.
Let me make my okay. I forgot you Ohio State got two. Okay, let me make my point. One, he didn't lose the big games at Ohio State. His team lost the big games. Okay. All right.
He threw a pick on a potential game-winning drive, but he didn't lose a game. And again, I never believe that one play can lose you a football game. That is something that, my coaches always told me. And so I do believe that, like, in my heart of hearts. However, when you have your starting quarterback throw a pick on a potential game-winning drive, granted, like, there was a lot of stuff that went wrong ahead of that game, that, kind of put us in that position. But when you throw a pick on the potential game-winning drive, you're on my I don't know if I can cuss, but you're on my S list. So.
Okay. Hear me out, okay?
I got you. Go ahead.
Hear me out.
My bad. Let me get off my soapbox.
You got the most fragile quarterback in the NFL. I don't think this is debatable.
Okay.
You got a very fragile offensive line that has no backups. Pair those two together, more than likely, we gonna be playing some games without Tua. More than likely. I'm just being a realist here. I'm sorry if that hurts your feelings, or you need to knock on wood. Do what you got to do. Okay. Behind this offensive line, you're gonna be playing some games without Tua. Remember what happened when you started running out of quarterbacks and guys had to be called off the street to learn the offense, and how complicated it was, and then you had Tyler Snoop Huntley raw dogging the offense, according to Tyreek. Listen, who should not be giving raw dog lectures, but anyway.
No.
Now,
okay. Go
if
ahead.
you saw what happened last year, you don't think you could use one of those 16 practice squad spots for a quarterback?
I mean, you can, but that's just a lot of quarterbacks to just kind of have. I mean, I get it. I understand where you're coming from, but good Lord, that's a lot of I also would like to just kind of maintain that last year was a little bit of an anomaly in the sense that, like, your backup got hurt too. Like, that's crazy. Like, obviously the Tua stuff, not so much. Like,
I mean, but it's happened before in 2023. Their starter got hurt, their backup got hurt.
And then you had to go.
So if it's happened to you twice in 4 years, it might happen to you again. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing it out there. Like, it's a possibility.
I know. I hear you. I know. It's definitely
not only did your backup get hurt, but then Snoop Huntley got hurt too.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah. No, that was bad.
When you have bad offensive lines, those things happen. Now, let me get off my soapbox.
No, I hear you.
So you made the point. There is still work to be done on this 53-man roster.
Oh, yeah,
I don't think they're finished at all. They're going to get some claims. Hopefully, if they're smart. No reason you shouldn't claim people. There's not anybody on this roster that. Do you really need Isaiah Johnson on this roster, or can you put him on your practice squad? Do you really need Matthew Butler on this roster, or can you put him on your practice squad? Is Cam Smith absolutely essential on this roster? I'm just saying. I'm just asking a question. Like,
no, I feel you.
Can I put Keon Smith on my practice squad? Or if according to Chris Greer, people were trying to trade for him last year, is Keon Smith's name hot on this block? I'm just asking you a question. I'm just asking a question. You should put in a claim for 3 people. That's just my personal opinion. Running back, I don't think you need to claim a kicker, but you might need to sign 2. Probably go with 2 on your practice squad. Let them compete it out. See what's going on.
Yeah, okay. Man. Oh, in the practice squad, competition always brings out the best of people. That's fair.
I know this team doesn't believe in competition, but I think it's a healthy thing. Then you got, obviously, the offensive line's got needs. I don't think you really need anything from an edge rush standpoint, but let's hope that some of your young pass rushers not only don't get claimed, but also want to come back here. So it'll be interesting to see how this whole thing pans out. Safety, especially with Ashton Davis was not put on the IR. Neither was Dante Trader Jr. So that they could possibly go on the IR tomorrow to create 2 available spots. Think about that. That you could only put 2 on the IR when you create the 53-man roster with the designation to return. Tomorrow you can put more on the 53, and they can return. And you don't have to designate them to return. So right now the Dolphins already used 2 of 8 spots on a center and a kicker. You kind of want to preserve those 8 spots for some important injuries, but we'll see how that pans out. And as you know, Dolphins need at least 2 running backs, and they need to fortify that stable because it's relatively thin. More than likely, they'll go with a couple of practice squad guys. So It'll be interesting to see. Now, one player can give you sort of a rundown on what happens when you're waived, because we talked to a lot of players today. Storm Duck talked about he hasn't even been waived yet. Talked about how nervous it was that day, because what people don't realize is they don't give you a call or give you a sit down talk and say you made it, young man. Like you don't get that talk. You just show up for work and nobody is firing you, and you just keep on going about your business. And you're like, well, that's why they call it the Turk of the Grim Reaper. The Turk is the Grim Reaper, because if you see the Grim Reaper, you gonna move, you gonna disperse. Funny enough, Mike McDaniel says they don't put that responsibility on one man because he'd be the most unpopular man in the building. They spread it around to their scouting department. So, and the scouts are not there on a regular basis, so they don't. These guys aren't personal to them. They're not, buddy with them. So players are going to be waived tomorrow. That's just the reality of it. Players are going to be waived throughout the season. That's just the reality of it. And Zach Sealer was one of those players who was waived during the season by the Baltimore Ravens. He's waived a couple of times. And look at who Zach is now.
I said respectfully, those guys have worked their tails off. I know Clark's one of the hardest coaches we got in this building, but I mean, he produces. His technique, his motivation, everything. There's gonna be days where you want to punch him, but he's gonna get the best out of you. He's gonna find a way, and I wouldn't play if I've spent 5-6 years with him already. Like all the respect from the world for him, his coaching style, and what he does. And I mean, you look at his history and his track record. I'm not surprised at all. And those kids, they shut up and work, and they've earned it, man. Zeke did some amazing things in the preseason. Jordan killed it, and KG came in just wanting to learn and ready to play. And with his power, his explosiveness, it's really exciting to see. So I'm excited to play with him this year, keep building that bond, and keep working with these guys.
Zach, kind of piggybacking off of that, when you look at those three guys in your room with the three rookies, and from your perspective, does it make you feel young to have three rookies, or make you feel old?
I think it's more so old. I felt young last year. We had you guys might know, an old vet in the room, but he's no longer here. He's still chasing his dream though, and I love seeing him play, keeping up with him. But with these guys, it's been awesome. It's been a 180 from last year, but it's been an awesome experience and a new rep for me, and it's been really exciting. And there is times where you kind of feel, dang, these guys still have a bunch of energy. Like, okay, let's go. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was Zach talking about his young defensive line room, where I can honestly tell you they got it right on that one. I was not impressed during training camp by all three of them, but when they took it to games, did they show out?
Yeah. Specifically Jordan Phillips, man, he was throwing guys around in that Detroit game, man. That one was he looked like a future star, honestly. It was crazy.
Yeah, not just Jordan Phillips. I like Zeke Biggers. I'm not surprised that he made the 53-man roster. I'd be shocked if they don't have a good defensive line, and unfortunately, because they got some depth on that unit. Unfortunately, I don't think that they have any offensive line depth. People, we're a little bit more worried about the offensive line than they are within the organization. We'll have opportunity to talk to Chris Greer tomorrow. Big day. What do you want to know from Chris Greer, Isaiah?
I want to know his line of thinking with the offensive line. Just what was, what was the decision, right? Like what ultimately motivated you to, one, you gave up a bunch of draft picks for Jonah, right? So that's one thing. And, I don't think, that was necessarily a bad move. I wasn't a fan of the move, honestly, considering you had other issues that need to be addressed. And the jury is still out on whether or not Jason Marshall Jr. can be a good nickel corner, right? And so we'll see. But if they hit on that, then I'm okay. But that's my question there. But then in addition to that, right, you think about some of the signings that they had. Laurie Borum comes to mind, right? Like the tape is showing that, at least from what I saw, maybe they evaluate a little bit differently, but the tape is showing me that he's struggling. And so
What they will tell you, because I've asked specifically,
Mm-hmm.
is that we projected him in our scheme, which he's never played in. It's going to be a process. It's going to be a developmental period. Now, we are midway through the developmental period. I have seen growth and development from him as a run blocker, particularly at right tackle. I know he cannot play left tackle. This is not a debatable situation here. I know he can't play left tackle.
Mm-hmm.
The film says it. He's shown you that he's a protection issue. I know. And here's the one thing I said on Twitter, if Chris Greer said, you know what, I don't feel comfortable enough about my depth of my edge, which we'd argue is the deepest position on this team, and I don't feel comfortable with my depth at cornerback, which we know has been something that they vehemently defended while consistently making moves.
Yeah.
What does he feel about his offensive line?
No, that's a good. Yeah, it's real. That's
like,
real.
what's the real feelings about his offensive line? And here's my thing: a lot of times it has been, and this is probably showing my cards too much, because they gonna know where I'm coming. They know I'm coming because I always come when it comes to offensive line. I will always be here. I don't know if I ever told you the story. They signed a guy 1 year. I badgered them so much about how horrible the guard play has been, that they signed a veteran from Green Bay named Josh Sitton. Okay. And literally within an hour of signing him, Adam Gase text me, now will you get off my back? Now, Sitton played one game before he got injured. Yeah. And then we went right back to the problems. Yeah. But man, this has been a long-standing. They've had 3 seasons where they've had a good offensive line. 2008, 2016, and 2023. And those so happen to be the years that they made the playoffs. So
very simple formula.
Very, very simple formula. They also made the playoffs in 2022. Yeah, 2022. Yeah. But anyway, which one player, Isaiah, we'll end with this, that was waived, that is a practice squad target, do you say absolutely has to come back?
Derek McClendon.
Why Derek McClendon?
I think he showed too much promise just as a pass rusher, right? And now you bring him around a very deep unit that has veterans like a Matthew Judon, that has veterans like a Bradley Chubb, that has veterans like a Jalen Phillips. He might be able to blossom into something great one day. Considering the jump that he made from last year to this year, because last year we weren't checking for Derek McClendon. Let's be honest, we were not checking for him.
They needed pass rushes, and he was on the 53, and he never even played.
Exactly. So to me, I'm banking on that growth, the growth from year 1 to year 2, and bringing him back into the system with these guys, right? Because a lot of times you learn from osmosis, right? I think and this is maybe I'm revealing my cards a little bit too much now, but I think Chop is going to have an even better year than he had last year, just simply based on the people that are in the room, right? And the opportunities that he will have, right? Because it's more difficult to go eat when it's just yourself, right? But now if you got another big dog on the other end, right? Now it's a lot easier because now their attention is shifting off of you and onto them. And I say all that to say with Derek McClendon, I think he can be greatly benefit from just learning from just presence, right? From just being there and seeing how Matthew Judon goes about his business, seeing how Bradley Chubb goes about his business, right? And I think he could potentially grow from there.
Since you took my answer, even though I do like Grayson Murphy, I'm going to go offensively, and I'm going to say Pharaoh Brown.
Okay.
And here's the reason why. I know, even though he gave up a sack in that Jacksonville game, I know he's a quality, decent inline tight end.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have anybody else other than Julian Hill, and you know how this team feels about Julian Hill, or this fan base feels about Julian Hill. I do know how the team feels about Julian Hill. They've got a ton of confidence in him.
Yeah.
But he hasn't consistently done it. And on top of that, because of how Julian has been limited in these exhibition games, I suspect there is an injury. Now, and because I'm sorry, Julian Hill is not of the status where he doesn't have to play in an exhibition game. Like,
He's the strongest guy on the team, though.
no shade intended. But let's be real about this, Julian Hill. You know you ain't done it like that, where you just on the sideline chilling. You ain't got to do nothing. Like, come on now, bro. So I suspect there's an injury. So to me, unless you're going to go sign a tight end or claim a tight end, Pharaoh Brown can give you that inline work. And I would hate for your offense to be limited by the fact that you have nothing but pass catching tight ends and nobody who can do inline work. So that's me on my soapbox. Also, very curious about Theo Weiss, but I think they gave him like most of his contract is like fully guaranteed. It's like a big chunk of his contract is guaranteed, like $400,000. Dolphins still got to pay that. If you claim him, then you picking up that tab. So that's how some teams be like, we sure nobody gonna claim him.
Yeah,
He's gonna be on our practice squad.
That's right.
So it'll be interesting. There's a whole lot of games within the games when you talk about the NFL business side.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. On that note, we will be back tomorrow to give you a wrap up of what your great general manager, Chris Greer, had to say about how he built this 53-man roster.